We are now video casting along with podcasting, so you can hear us, you can see us, you can talk to us.
Sound like a TV show.
We will be talking about the Coaches Roundtable.
And I see half of a game here, half of a game there, because I want to get eyes on these teams that we're ranking. You can't be looking at your phone.
My bad.
You know, some things coaches just can't teach kids, and kids can't teach coaches.
You think you're funny. Just funny.
All right. We're here with an Extra Point podcast, a little different, John, than what we've normally done in the past. We've got some high-profile guests going on right here.
Yes, we do.
I appreciate that.
Jeff Gorange for the U Conference and John Thunder Halliburton. They're running the controls. You know, Thunder's his new pronoun. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about right here.
Okay.
Right here. Okay, John. Okay, before we get started here, we got a couple things we need to get out. We've got some videos coming your way that have been recorded recently that explains how we're going to schedule this year, but not only how we're going to schedule, but it gives us context for how we're going to divide teams. Because in this new scheduling system, it's a competitive effort this year. It is not Alta playing Cypress. It is not Hillcrest playing Brighton. It is
Cypress playing Mountain Ridge.
Cypress playing Mountain Ridge?
Cypress
I know who wins that one.
Well,
Cypress.
exactly.
Absolutely. Look, we got
said
it right
well.
here. No, but so coaches, we need you to watch this because we need you to follow these guidelines throughout the U Conference because that's where you're going to be scheduled. Also, on another note, you can't hide. You stack a B team, it's gonna catch you after week 5. And you've won 5 games, 40-0, and you're thinking you're all bad, yeah, you're going up. So, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. We want good football games. So those videos will be coming out. Also, we've got videos coming out for our Scout division and our Gremlin division. We define for everybody, including the parents, so that they know how we play that game, because that's our modified portion of the U Conference. And if we can keep the coaches under control, keep their phones in their pockets, we are going to be good. Winston Jones here with me from Cypress, and he's brought in some friends. And I'm going to let him, the man, introduce his friends. And this segment is going to go on to other segments because we want some young men doing this from the U Conference, some players. But this is going to be known as Life as a Player, Winston.
Life as a player?
Life as a player, because, but not only that, but we got some dads here too.
We do.
We got some dads here, and
Some granddads.
what some youth football means to these kids.
Yeah.
So, start right over there
Well, we
and
got-
introduce away.
Derrick Martin here with his son, Marcus Kemp. And then we got Derrick Warren here with his son, Jaylen Warren.
Honored.
So, why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell us where you played football and where you play now?
Jaylen Warren. I went to high school at East High School, and I'm currently playing at Pittsburgh Steelers.
And where'd you play Little League?
Little League at Hunter.
Hunter Wolverine?
Football.
Who was your?
first?
What's that?
Oh, I
Granger
did.
was his
I
first
played
year.
Granger 1 year. Then I went Hunter. I had a little Mexican friend I was just following around. That's really. I was playing basketball at first. I was playing basketball, then I met him.
Does
We
he
got
have?
close.
Does he have a name?
Carlos
Carlos.
Carlos what?
Shout out to Carlos.
Moreno. Carlos Moreno.
Okay.
Okay, and so then
Los Marino. I actually know his father.
You
Yeah,
do?
Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I know his father. Yeah.
very
I know
cool,
Carlos.
very cool. So you played a few years out at Hunter.
Yeah.
Who were your coaches at Hunter? Do you remember?
Fred Rawlin.
Oh,
Oh,
no!
that's good, man.
Oh yeah,
Y'all know him?
old school.
LB.
Old school.
Winston was his
Yeah,
running back
LB.
coach.
Yeah, very
should-
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Marcus, tell where you played.
Yeah, I played in Layton.
Layton City, all growing up, high school, junior high, elementary, little league. Ended up at University of Hawaii, and then been in the league for about 5 years, going on 6, primarily with the Chiefs, shortstop in Miami. Other than that, I'm a free agent right now. So,
but you got yourself a ring from the Chiefs.
Yeah, one big one, one small one. Small one's the AFC one. Nobody talks about that one. Nobody really wants it. But yeah, it's been a blessing.
You know what's amazing, and most people don't understand, when the U Conference was created back in 1966, it was basically, Tally Stevens said, if we don't get kids coming through the Little League programs, feeding into these high schools here, University of Utah, BYU, we're going to be nothing in football. And you guys didn't even play there. But we have, as of last year, we had 24 young men that went through the U Conference at some point on NFL rosters.
Did you
Now,
count Jaylen?
I did not count
So
Jaylen.
that's 25 right there.
But the point being is, it's amazing what is happening with football in the metro Intermountain area, Salt Lake City, from Ogden to Orem. We got a lot happening. And so we want you to, I'm going to start with Derrick over here. Tell us, Derrick, what does Little League football mean to your family? What does youth sports mean to your family and watching Marcus and your other kids come up through it?
So, the funny story is, so when me and his mother started dating, I think he was 9 years old, and everybody was telling me, you got to see him play football. I'm like, all right. So the first game, he goes, boom, 80 yards. I'm running down the field with him, jumping over parents.
Look like OJ in an airport.
Before all that. Then, oh shoot, then again, bust another one for like 70 yards. I'm running down the field again. Go, go. Third time, I'm like, wait, I think he does this a lot. So I stopped running after that, but I mean, it was just, you could just tell, you could just see that he was a superior athlete at that age. You know, and his younger brothers all looked up to him, and with that, and he was blessed to have the same coach from the time he started till he finished.
Do you think that was a help or a hindrance?
That was a help, because and that guy's still a great friend to our entire family. So,
what did that mean to you that you had the same coach?
Yeah, that's my guy. I mean, he was old school, so I mean,
Old school how?
I wanted to play receiver, but he threw the ball maybe twice a game. That's up until 8th, 9th grade. So I was a running back primarily, even though I'm skinny. So he's old school in that way, you know, forearm shivers, things like that. But he was like a father figure. Like he came, you know, 8, 9, but I mean, I started playing football 6, 7. So for those early years, you know, he really took us in, and he was important in teaching those lessons that young men need, especially at that time. So,
Are you still in contact with him?
Yeah, I talked to him. I visit him every once in a while. I mean, I played with his son and went to high school with him, so he's one of my friends as well. So, I mean, yeah, we've talked a lot over the years. But he's been important. I mean, he really was. Having that consistent person there was important for me at that age.
Do you think it helped playing football at 9, 10, 11 years old when you got to high school? Do you think that transition was a little easier at that point?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think it's necessary. I do, you know, people can figure it out, but it definitely gave me a leg up in terms of my athleticism and how I was used to moving on the field and throughout different positions. So I think obviously the earlier you can get to safely, earlier you can start football safely is beneficial.
Well, safety is one of the key components that we have here in the U Conference, and Winston knows this. I mean, we don't teach tackling today the way we did 10 years ago.
right.
We don't, you know, guys run the ball. We'll get to Jaylen over here in just a second. We don't run the wall the same way. It's different because you lower that head down like we were taught when I played with leather helmets.
No face mask.
Barely leather. Nope. But
Protection.
But the bottom line is the game is at our safest point. Actually, the younger we start them, because once we're finding that as we do more and more research, when kids hit puberty and we've got different levels of growth going on, open growth plates, that's where our injuries actually really occur from. And so there's a lot of people that say, hey, football's not safe. Yeah, I disagree with that because I got statistics that will show go the.
You know, you have a good point. When did you ever get hurt when you were a kid?
So no, I mean I was blessed. Football is it's a tough sport, but growing up I didn't get a serious injury till I was in the league.
Yeah.
So we were safe, and I played receiver, running back, and safety. So it's a pretty high contact positions, and I knew how to tackle. I was taught well how to tackle, keep my head up, things like that, and I was blessed enough athletically to stay off the ground when I had the ball in my hands enough to kind of limit those opportunities for injury.
That's good.
Derrick, the other Derrick. We're going to go to the other side of the table. Tell us about your experience as a dad and what youth sports has meant to your family.
Listening to Derrick's story, it's amazing how common it is because it's therapeutic. Like when I was listening to you, like it's your therapy. You don't care about what happens, how the game ends. You just care about them having fun. So when he started, like he said, like he always played. I think he started when he was 8, but after playing with Fred, he played like with the team of people that was older and taller.
A year
than him.
older.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was a year. Or was it 2?
No,
I think it was a year. Okay, so just
Pretty
seeing the
wide.
progression.
Yeah.
I always felt like at that point that would benefit him one day. Because at first he didn't want to do it, and just to keep seeing him not wanting to do it and kept doing it, like that's inspiring because it taught him a lot about life too. He had different coaches. Like that's awesome that you had the same coach all the time, but his coaches, like he always had the right coaches that definitely saw something in him. Even when he got on the B team, he was on the B team, and then they tried to switch and get him on the A team after they overlooked him, and he got picked by the B team.
Hold on. So a B team kid
Yeah.
made it to the
what
NFL.
was? Yeah. What's,
Whoa! We're going to talk about
We need
that.
to talk
No,
about
that happens all the time.
No, I'm just saying. So because people complain about being on the B team and not realizing that they put kids down to the B team and they think they're not good.
Yeah, they think it's the B team.
Has
and
nothing
they're
to
at
do
the
with
bottom-
it. I'm just
they're at the
saying.
bottom
I know,
of the
but-
totem.
but I'm-
But
Don't
mentally,
be mad at me for saying
psychologically, like it affects them.
We're gonna have a conversation.
I'm just saying. I'm happy to see.
No, absolutely.
to see it. I've been following him since probably when you first got in high school. We started talking about it. So, but I didn't know you were on the B team. That's even better. I used to be a B team coach. I love being on the B team.
I love that
I love
experience with the B
I
team.
love it
Those
too.
boys
Do you
fall
know
out.
how many B players
that.
get
Have fun.
D1 scholarships out
I
of this
do not.
program?
Were you on the B
lot.
team?
No.
See, ours was different. We didn't really have a B team. We didn't have enough kids running around.
But you see, here's the deal. Okay, let's take Shaq. You guys remember Shaq that played at the U? Oh, Shaq.
I thought he played at LSU.
Yeah,
No,
that's the only Shaq I know.
Oh, my goodness. Anyways, he played a B team his whole life. He was running back at the University of Utah. He retired because of concussions.
Nah, I never heard
Okay?
of him.
At any rate, he was on a B team all the way through. All of a sudden, he got in 9th grade, and he became a man. And he started at Alta High School as a 9th grader in some pretty good times. All-state, Mr. Football, but he played B all the way through. So,
Did you get Mr. Football?
Yeah, my senior year.
your senior year at East,
Yeah, yes, sir.
pretty cool.
It was.
So tell us about your experience being recruited by Mike Gundy.
Oh, that was I mean, it was a long process. Even out of high school, I went JUCO route, and
What JUCO did you go to?
Snow College. Yeah. So I went over there, stayed there for 2 years, and then I had Hawaii and Utah State. And I'm not gonna lie, I picked Utah State because the year before they beat Hawaii. So I was like, I want to be on the winning
Don't
team.
get upset.
Yeah. Nah, but yeah, so I went to Utah State. I ended up just transferring to Oklahoma State for my last year. So
For the record,
I know this guy. I'm a college football guy. I watched you a few times on TV.
yeah.
I watched you a few times on TV. Or
I was
you-
upset you left Utah State. That's all I was saying.
Yeah,
That's a whole story
A lot of
within
people
itself.
were.
I'm a Utah State.
Oh, you are?
I'm a true Aggie through and through.
So now, tell us, you're going back to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Month off, ready to roll.
You ain't
Are
off.
you-
100%.
You're just not there. You're not off.
No, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Month-
So let's talk about that. Are
Outta-
you guys working out right now?
Yeah.
What are you
I
doing?
just came from working out.
Yeah,
right
we
now.
just came. We got
Probably
something.
gonna work out after
We had
this.
something after this too. So it just came. It's basically like we get done in the morning, then like, extracurricular stuff. We like go to the field and just do whatever, work on whatever we feel like we need to. It's just getting in as much as we can with this month. So
A little different than your college experience and your high school experience at the league level.
as far as like
Everything, intensity,
yeah,
hours.
oh yeah, 100%. I feel like the difference between the league and college is in the league they supply you with all this time, but it's really what I've learned is what you use that time for, like taking care of your body. Like you really got to be on top of your stuff, because if not, it's going to catch up to you. I've only been there for like a month, but watching the veterans, they're in there earlier, like 2 hours earlier, in the hot tub, doing whatever. Like I was talking to Najee, he was telling me all these like words, scalping, scolding. I'm like, bro, I don't even know how those things are. Like, I mean, and I used to look at it like in junior college, I had a pretty good year, my second year, and that's without the ice tubs and stuff. But as time went on, I realized that my body's getting older, and I really need to like do the proper stuff to keep it in the best shape as possible. Like I can't use my old ways, so taking care of it, learning like about my body throughout the process, I feel like that's like a good thing.
That's another thing. Like, I know everybody has their journey, and I love your story. Like, he went when he never complained about the B team, never complained about going to snow, and with him going to snow, like I have so much respect for JUCO players. Like just to go through that experience,
Yep.
like people don't know that they gotta pay for everything, they gotta do everything on their own, and then on top of that, gotta make sure you have a great mentality for your game, for your academics. Like that's when I started what you put me on to Last Chance.
Oh yeah.
Last
Last
Chance
Chance
U?
U.
Yeah,
Like that's a great
show.
yeah, that's a great show, man, because it really tells their stories, and a lot of great players don't get that opportunity, So I just really love the journey. So
That's why I actually love both of you guys' stories, because of the grind. Him going to Hawaii, but didn't you guys have to do something to get recruited?
Well,
to
yeah.
Hawaii?
I mean, I was weeks away from starting to talk to JUCOs. I got an offer late October of my senior year, so I mean that's late in the process. And the reason I got it was my athletic trainer at my high school knew a coach at Hawaii, sent him my film, and they appreciated what they saw.
So you had to push to get there.
Yeah, but we were getting nothing. I mean, the Utah schools especially, they just didn't like me. I mean, they thought I was too slow or whatever it was. But they just, there was nothing coming. So we started talking about, alternative routes. And then, I got a blessing that October, and it ended up working out. But, I mean, it's always
Pushed through it, and you got to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps. At the time when you're in high school, obviously you want the hype, you want the offers, the letters, and whatever. But going through that and understanding that, not everybody's going to see your potential the way you see it, it helped me go through college when I wasn't, getting the time I wanted to get, or in the league when I was started off in the practice squad and I thought I might be better than somebody else. It helps in those situations where, at some point somebody's going to see your potential when it's supposed to happen.
That's right. You did start off on the practice squad when you
Did,
got there.
yeah. First
and then
year.
you made your way up.
First year practice squad, I got called up for a few games. But I mean, that practice squad life is not easy. I mean, you're preparing like you're playing, like you're starting in the game. You're preparing like you're the number one receiver all throughout the week, and sometimes even more, because some of those vets need a break, so it falls on you. So you're preparing that way, and then you don't get really the same benefit on the weekend or at payday. So it's just a little bit different. That's definitely a grind situation, similar to how a JUCO or a B team would be is you feel like you should be there, you're preparing like you are there, and you're just not getting the same benefits.
I can respect that grind.
I mean, even to this day, my wife, she don't like the youth because they're overlooking them, and I'm like, he's 6'4" receiver, can't be stopped, just doing his thing, and all these schools here was just overlooking him, and I just told him all you need is one school, and that's your chance. And I remember he told me it was the first few weeks after practice that Norm Chow came up to him and told him, "You're going pro." And
Yeah, it's just, I mean,
First few weeks in college, he told you that.
Yeah, he said I had the potential. He sat me down and said, "Listen, this is how players get. You got the potential to be in the league. Now you can either take it this way, or you could either stagnate or go down. So I want you to go up." So he helped me that way. Norm Chow is
So an interesting thing that's happening out there right now, and both of you have experienced this. We have all these rivals, and we have all these talent scouting agencies that put your star value out there.
yeah,
So if you're a 1-star or a 2-star, you're never making it to the league, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a 2-star. I got it right here. Yeah, you get
My point
You're
exactly.
a 2-star athlete. You
2-star
made it to the
athlete.
league.
Yeah,
and
like
you got
I
a
said,
ring.
Like I
Yes.
said, when you're in high school,
Exactly.
that stuff,
Great
that
It
kind of
sits
hurts.
on
You know, that's all you're going for when you're 16. And so when I see a 2-star and then, somebody down the street who I have played against and I know isn't better than me is a 3-star or whatever it is, it hurts. But then as I go through life, I realize, these people don't know me. They don't know the situation. They haven't watched me.
So what do you
play
tell
that
kids?
much, so-
I mean, because there's a lot of kids out there watching this go on right now, and they're saying, "Hey, I'm a 0-star.
I'm on a B team.
I'm on a B team." What do you tell them?
It doesn't matter. You're talking about people that don't really understand your specific situation. So as long as you're improving and getting better at what you need to get better at, eventually it'll pay off the way it's supposed to pay off. Like I said, I'm a 2-star athlete, and I go into, my college camp is one of the lowest recruits they have, definitely the lowest receiver recruit they have, and I work my way up to eventually playing as a freshman. Same thing happened in the league, undrafted and bottom of the roster guy, and eventually just did what I was supposed to do at the right times, and it works itself out.
But did a 2-star matter to Norm Chow?
No, that's what I mean. Once you get there, nobody is looking at the stars. Once you get to college, once you get to the league, no longer is anybody have a list in front of you where it says he's a 2-star, he's a 2nd-round draft pick. It's just who's playing.
We'll go right to the highest profile position out there, quarterbacks. How many high-profile quarterbacks play at the D1 level or on TV every Saturday, and their name's not Joe Flacco? See where I'm going? Don't quit, kids. Keep playing. If you've got talent, if you can play at the next level, and I'm talking about from Little League to high school right now, keep working. Don't give up. Your body's going to change. But you give yourself 0 chance if you quit. Don't quit. Don't let anybody talk you.
Can I piggyback on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I never played football. I played a couple of games in Little League, and they put me as cornerback. And every time this guy named Fuzzy Lee played for Carolina, he was a running back for them. They'd always run to my side. I would jump on his head and try to tackle. They took me out, so I knew this wasn't for me. I promise you, true story. So I went to baseball, and I did good in baseball, but then they started using the pitching machines. I was like, dang, I couldn't do good on the pitching machine. So then I went to basketball. I was a beast in basketball, and I used to take him and his sisters with me to the rec. And I only know one mode in basketball, and that's just go hard. Even when you tired as heck, you gotta find the strength to keep pushing. So when he started playing football, I didn't know what to tell him, as far as being a good football player. So I remember when Eminem was out, and like you were saying, you just gotta keep pushing every day. And I was just telling him to visualize himself on the field, just visualize yourself there, and have that right mindset to be better than you were yesterday. But other than that, that's all I could do. You know what I mean? The rest is up to him. So like you said, you cannot quit. No matter what, do not quit. And that's every single day, no days off. Not even on Sundays. You gotta still have it here first. So I want to just piggyback on that.
Jaylen, your thoughts?
Yeah.
No, that just him explaining that just brought up the memories. I think like if you really want it, you'll get it, and you just gotta prove, prove to yourself. I think that's the most important part, is proving it to yourself. Like, you know, you gotta don't listen to people telling you can't do it, because, you know, they're on the bleachers for a reason. That's how I looked at it. But I don't know, like, when he was telling me, I remember in basketball, he just go hard, broke his legs, fingers just going crazy, and that's probably where I get it from. And it's just like, I remember being at the apartments, he had like a big work bag. He'd take me outside, put these big rocks in, tell me to run up the hill. I'm like, I don't want to do all that.
Caveman workout.
Do that every train. You know, other kids was able to go to like camps and stuff. We couldn't do that.
We couldn't go to camps.
We had like
so
empty
you didn't
water
have
bottles
players-
as cones running drills. I'll put like his friend Carlos, because they was playing together, and Bubba, like I would put pillows in my shirt, and while they had their helmet and shoulder pads on. And I'm like the dummy, like, okay, go full speed, you know, like, and let them tackle me, practice tackle me. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like you running down the field, man, like that's something you don't plan. Like, that's my greatest memories. That first time, just I was working the things, and as soon as he broke, I just threw it down and just go, boy. Like it's just instinct, you know. And shout out to the fathers that do that, because there's some that don't. You know, there's some that don't do that, and I think also what matters is the friends you hang around with. You know,
Yeah,
you can't
100%.
think that you're going to be good at what you do, no matter what position you play, and you hang around cats that's telling you that, you know, you're not. So you gotta definitely have a good support system of friends that are on the same mindset and level as you are, because energy is contagious.
And that's what, if we go back to Little League, that coach, Steve Brown, was my Little League coach growing up for however many years. When I started, he was very important in my life, because he said, you know, you have the potential to be in the league, to play football for a long time. And in a very serious manner, you know, they joke about me breaking touchdowns and, oh, you could be in the NFL, let me be your agent or whatever. But he was very serious about, you know, you need to work hard, because you can be there with those guys you're watching on Sunday. And for him to tell a little kid, 6, 7, 8-year-old, and give him that confidence that it's possible, I think was very important on my path of getting here.
Yeah,
And that stuck with you?
It stuck with me. Yeah, I can remember the conversation when the first time he said, I think you can play in the NFL.
I mean, he
Let's do
used
these
to
workouts.
cry if he was not the first one to practice.
Say that again, please. Please. What are
I
you
said
talking about?
he used to cry if he was not the first one at practice. And so, like I said, I was new to the situation, and he was waiting. I'm like, what? We're going. And his mom's like,
All right,
he's got to be the.
You brought something up. I appreciate these, but you brought something up that we face now in Little League that's kind of a problem. I'm going to talk to the dads. We got a lot of dads out there that want to be daddy GMs. They want to control everything that goes on.
You gonna tag him to this?
So, how involved were you? I mean, do you think it's the parents' responsibility to be in a coach's face about how the kids playing or progressing? I mean, you've just said how grateful you were for this coach inspiring him to play ball. But now we got parents that want to control this. They want to, you know, I had one high school coach tell me a year ago, they brought in all the participation trophies this kid had from basketball, football, and put them on the desk and says, my kid should be playing because look what he's got. That's the extreme that's happening right now. What is your role as a parent when somebody else is coaching your boy?
Well, we've got two younger. Well, one's 24, the other's 16. You know, and it's just, I've never gone to a coach. With me and Steve, I mean, we're friends. I just talked to him last week. But if there was ever a situation, it was just a conversation. It wasn't, I'm all up in your face about it. Or, I would just ask questions about things. I was not overbearing, saying what you should do here and this is how you should do it, because if that's the case, then I should actually apply to try to be a coach. And
Oh, my God.
It's important for us, too. Because, I mean, if we see them arguing about every little thing and trying to control situations, then we don't understand. We just need to work in a manner to get better. I
Do
mean,
you think Dad should go
Look.
tag Andy Reid and say, "Hey, yo, bro, what's up?"
no, I definitely don't. That's what I mean.
Exactly. Good
And so-
point.
so-
No,
so
I'm too
at a
busy
young
on
age,
Twitter
so-
yelling at writers and stuff. So
Getting your Twitters on TNT.
my Twitter
tweets
thumbs. Stay off of Twitter, bro.
I don't. I have a Twitter account, but I'm not on Twitter like that. Which
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
thankful for.
Yeah,
Because
do your best.
I want to talk
But do
to
you think
about.
parents should be involved in getting in
Nah.
coaches' faces and stuff?
Honestly, from experience, I think if they are like that, they kind of a little jealous of the coaches players relationship. That makes sense. Okay, so what
It's fair.
I mean by that is, I can tell him he had a good game, and it's different from the coach telling him he had a good game. Because I'm coming from a father perspective. Like I'm not always telling him he has a good game, but it's just different because I already see it in him. But it's different from the coach. So there were times. Now thinking back, the only time I really want to get in the coach's face is in that Baylor championship game when they didn't put him in for that 1 yard.
Yeah, I watched that.
I wanted to get up and get in his face then, like, dude, 1 yard. No, I'm playing. But I've dang, boy, the bottle. I felt like doing it before, but like he said, like it's a way to do it. Like you gotta trust that he's the coach. Like I wish he would have had the same coach all throughout the career, but the 3-4 coaches that he had, they've been great, and I've been grateful for them, and I'm grateful for them to this day because I saw them creating a man out of him, you know, outside of football too. So who am I to hate on that? So I think like if you're not seeing the growth in your child, is probably your child or you.
Well, I'm going to come back to Marcus really quick because I want you to touch. You know, I made a joke saying, you know, you want your dad calling Andy Reid. What does that make you feel like when your dad oversteps the bounds?
Yeah, I mean,
From a player perspective.
Yeah, there's a point. It's understandable that a parent wants to protect their child to a level, but like I said, if a kid is watching their parent complain about every little playing time or every little situation that happens on the field, that I don't feel like that kid understands that he might just need to get better in a certain situation. You know what I mean? He might just need to work on some things. And so instead of me growing up and having the trials that I did, not getting recruited or whatever it was, instead of just complaining and you know, whining that I'm better than this person and I should be playing here, I worked harder and made a path for myself. So I think that was instilled in me early by my parents, you know, talking to me about how I need to improve and then not overstepping on a coach's, you know, turf when it came to the sport specifically.
So we're gonna wind this down here, but I'm gonna go to Jaylen. Another thing that just came out just in my mind that we talk about all the time here in the U Conference. We have a 10-play rule for our games. Right. Every kid has to play 10 plays. 10-play coach. 10-play coach. Oh, just saying. What I'm saying is, where do kids get better? Do they get better on Saturdays in the games, or do they get better in practice? Where does that, or do they get better in the off season, Jaylen, when you're on your own?
I mean, all of those tie into each other. I think the way you do one thing is how you do everything. So I think as long as you're consistent with everything you do and you're willing to push yourself, you're going to get better, like, no matter what.
So you're on your own right now.
Yeah.
You don't have any coaches standing over you. You don't have any strength and conditioning people saying, Jaylen, you got to do this. You've already mentioned that you've work out in the morning and you're working out in the afternoon. Why do you do it?
Just so, I mean, I do it so I can, like, I do it because, you know, it gets hard, yeah. I just appreciate the grind. I think I'll appreciate it more when I, you know, get to wherever, you know, the next step is. But I just do it so I can feel good. I
But
do it so I
agree or
can get in the
disagree?
best shape.
If you work out on your own, you work extremely hard in practice, it comes a lot easier on game day.
Yeah, most definitely.
You can still intensify, you can still improve your game day experience. but to what they all tie into each other. So get your kids to practice. Get them on time. If you got some free time on Sunday afternoon, go to the park, throw the ball. Run some sprints with them.
Have some goals with the team. Like, I used to love to have the team over for Friday nights. Like 8, 9, 10 of the football. Man, I miss those days. Like,
I throw passes right now. That's all.
But you know, it's interesting.
Well, you're a grandpa, so
my kids can't make it anywhere close to where you guys are. Okay? But they still talk about their Little League days like they were yesterday. My oldest son just had a reunion, and he talked about all of his Little League friends that were at the reunion. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that was a memory. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I played in some bigger games in my sport, but I think my most
Played in
vivid.
the biggest.
Yeah,
I played in the biggest. But some of my most vivid and fond memories are Little League. We used to have like a Little League party at the end of the year, sleepovers, and I mean, I used to have a blast, and that's really what sticks with me growing up. And yeah, I could go through the Super Bowl or whatever it is, but really, I think Little League was the most fun I had playing football. You know, so
Little League was the most fun you got playing
yeah,
football.
I mean, it turns into a job now, and it's obviously the love of my life. But I mean, it's Little League was a time where it was carefree and no responsibility, and just get to play.
So you kind of said something right there too. So was that the funnest time of your football career?
Yeah, I would say Little League was.
Oh, parents,
It
you
was
got to
just-
listen to this.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the funnest time of their
Nah.
lives. You got 2 guys playing at this level,
The highest level.
the highest level of this game. Let them enjoy it. Let the car rides home be great. Be their cheerleader.
Yeah.
Pump them up. All right.
The car ride home. You guys are.
Well, sometimes those get tough.
Oh,
Sometimes you
touch
don't play
the nerve.
best.
I used to get on his uncle, R.I.P. He used to, after Marcus have a good game, he just be like, "Oh, you the best, you this, you that, you the best." I'm like, "Hey, did you kill him with all that? I said, stop blowing his head up, man."
I
I'm
don't know
like,
if you want me to say that. Yeah. Okay. So I have a question. I want to pick. I guess your brain because you're a dad. Then I have a question to y'all about referees. How do you feel? Like, did you ever get money for scoring touchdown when you were little?
Grandma.
Yeah, my grandma would give us $5 at the end of the game, regardless.
That's it?
Yeah, $5. It was enough for me. I was 7 years old. So yes, I got money. More of it like my uncle would videotape, so he would have me do dances or point to the camera, stuff like that. So it was exciting to score. Less about the money at that age, but it was exciting.
So as a father, I used to get bothered by that. Like, I felt like it sent the wrong message. So now that I'm with professionals, and I'm sure y'all seen it, I mean, what does that teach the kid in your opinion? And they don't get it when they don't score.
Well, there's 2 sides to that question. There's the athletic side where you're gifted and you've been blessed from God with athletic talent that some kids just don't have. When I was a coach, and I coached for 30 years, team was always my most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
The life lessons these kids learned as a team, to gel together, to become a brotherhood, that was the most important. But you always had these kids like Jaylen, like Marcus, that were
Stand out.
they were standing out, you know? And I was actually tougher on these guys because I saw their potential and I would push them harder than I would somebody who just didn't have. Now, I pushed everybody because the difference between a championship team, especially at the Little League to the high school level, everybody's got their studs. It's that, what do you do with those kids that are 5 through 11 on your roster? And if you can get 12 to 14 equal to the 5 to 11s, you're going to be better than the teams you face. So I pushed everybody, but I pushed these guys really hard to be the leader. I pushed them really hard to be the example. And that's the way I handled them. So it was team, and let me tell you, if they were scoring touchdowns, the kids were eating cheeseburgers, and they were eating Subway sandwiches, and they were getting plenty of Twinkies and cookies at the end.
For me, my kids, man, and he could probably, I got in trouble for it, but He makes fun of me for it. I bless my kids. If they do good, there's a
Collectively,
year,
though. Or
oh yeah, the whole
individually?
team. One
Whole
year I
team.
bought them.
It was
I
laced
bought
up.
them. Yeah, they had Jordans. They had
Santa Claus.
How
coach.
do you know that about
Yeah,
me,
they had
Coach?
Jordans,
They went to the
had-
banquet and they walked
Yeah.
out there, and the parent says, "I got no chance.
Yeah.
I got no
I got in
chance."
trouble because a mother went to another banquet and was upset that her kid didn't get that the other banquet they only got a hoodie, and she went to Russ and was like, "Hey, where's the rest of the stuff?" And Russ was like, "Hey, that was just his team, not the other team." So, but I pushed all our kids to do
I
that.
agree with that.
But
I
I
mean-
will. My team could verify. We beat Hunter one year. Sorry. And I sat there, and all 20 of the kids was sitting outside, and I was just like, as they was walking by, here go your 5, here go your 5. Everybody got the same amount. But
Okay, I agree with that. You know what I mean? But
I
and
mean,
I've grown to accept it.
Isn't
But I
it
just
that
never
some
really
sort
quite
of
understood
NCAA
it.
violation?
Like my grandparents, they gave me the money, win or loss, touchdown or no touchdown. So
There was no
it just-
strings attached.
There was no strings attached. She just,
That's
Yeah.
love.
just made
It
me
was
feel
almost like
good.
it was like an allowance that made you feel good. That grandma was there.
Exactly. Yeah.
She knew what you did,
Yeah.
and she enjoyed it.
Right.
I can understand grandma, but I'm being like, I
Yeah.
guess outside of that.
Yeah.
But it's I've accepted. I just wanted
But
to get your
at some
opinion on
point,
it.
it becomes a personal preference. Inside of everybody's economic situations are a little different.
True.
And as long as we got people who are out there loving the game, learning to love the game, and promoting these kids and making them better adults. Let's face
Yeah,
facts.
The game.
This guy hasn't played a game of football for a really long time. It will end for these guys all too soon. Let them love the game, embrace the game, so that when they have kids, they want their kids to participate in it.
I agree with that totally.
Okay. All right. Well, Winston, we've had some great guests here today.
they did. I thank you guys for coming.
I thank you for
I'm glad to
coming.
be here.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
John, you've been really quiet today. I don't know. You okay?
You guys kept me busy.
You moving around? You got things going?
Remove the thunder from his name then if he can't keep up.
He's got the. Oh, I like that.
I'm half
All
lightning,
right.
half thunder.
Derrick, Marcus, Winston, Derrick, Jaylen. Good luck to you guys. Thank you for coming in and sharing a few minutes with the U Conference. This is a big deal. I was telling Winston before, this will probably be seen about 3,500 times.
Nah, it's gonna be seen more.
If
Y'all
he
have
has
to
his,
share.
it's just going to be like his banquet. He's going to be handing out dollar bills.
I don't hand out dollar bills at the banquet, man. Only at the games.
Question about the refs though.
Okay.
When I never got kicked out of the game.
You weren't gonna let that one go.
Oh, well,
I just want to know like what's the screening process for refs? Because
do you have a pulse?
you gotta have.
We need
I got
refs.
kicked out of games
Yeah.
because of refs.
Okay,
Refs,
I
the
mean,
fans,
you
they
know,
sent
no,
them out.
here-
Yeah, I get kicked out of games because
Here's
of the
the
refs.
deal. Here's the deal. We need refs. We have a referee class all the way to the NFL that is retiring. And the younger generation is not filling in. That is, you can talk about field space, you can talk about supply chain. Referees are our biggest threat to continuing the game of football and any other youth sport out there, because people don't want to get paid the amount of money they get paid and take the abuse that they take.
Yeah.
So the answer to your question is, we'll take pretty much anybody, but this morning I scheduled 2 referee meetings. We have a whole segment in our coaches certification that the referees will all go through. So we teach them what the penalties are, because the penalties on Sunday are different than the penalties that we play on Saturday morning. And the high school level's a little different, and the college level's a little different. So what we have, or our number one problem is that we are, we're not blessed with an overabundance of referees. And that is a a big problem for us. But we're working on it. We pay them the top, in the youth world, we pay them top tier wages. We want them to be the best. Sometimes they're not. But I say it like this. I have some excellent referees. I have some really bad referees. I have some excellent coaches. I get some really bad coaches. It's across the board. And usually the main problem that we have that we're trying to fix is the dialogue between coach and referee. Now this year, you guys can see right over there, we're putting scoreboards and score clocks on every field. Our number one interaction that turns negative is how much time's on the clock. The anxiety of being a coach and not seeing, knowing, or feeling like the referee is cutting time. So we're going, that's a real problem. And that's our number one interaction point that turns negative. So we're going to solve that. We spent $60,000 this year on scoreboards for every field. If we can get referees reffing the game and we take care of the clocks, then it's up to the coach just to coach, and it can't, they got to just concentrate on coaching, which is where we want them concentrating. I've seen guys, John, you'll back this up. I've seen coaches literally get a 5-yard penalty for their team by not getting the play in on time because they were standing there screaming, how much time's on the clock? When they should have been focused on getting their play in. Focus on the kids. So, I was joking. Not everybody can be a referee. But we are working really hard to get them on crews to where we can bring up a next generation of referees. And that's all of our responsibility. That's not just the U Conference responsibility. That's everybody. Because these guys at their level have to have referees. Let me tell you something. They get chewed on as hard as anybody because the media eats them up. Yeah. People eat them up. Twitter eats them up. Okay? So be patient with our referees. I say it like this. When you started the game, 7, 8 years old, you had to start somewhere before you can get to your level. Well, referees have to start at the 7, 8-year-old level before they could ever get to this level. And they are not going to be perfect, and they're going to screw up, and it's just got to be okay.
I like that. I think that
Yeah,
needs to be heard. For sure.
I had to ref one time, and Winston yelling at me.
You got the call wrong.
And I was dead
Some
right.
people should not be referees.
I was dead right.
He was a
Okay, back
horrible
to,
ref.
I've got some really good referees and some horrible referees. Thunder?
Oh, they're trying to call me up to NFL.
All right, I just want to say thank you, guys. I hope we covered everything that you thought should be covered.
Yeah.
Your insights have been amazing. Thank you. Good luck to you in this coming fall. I'll be dialed in. I need you both to start following the U Conference page, and we'll start following you. How's that?
All right, man. Sounds good.
Okay, John. This is the extra point. If you're not scoring your extra points, you're probably not winning the game.
Go ahead, Steve.
Jeff Gorins, John Halliburton, we're out.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome, man. Appreciate that.
This conversation is now over.